Crispy Divine Central Mass Vapors. Thank you very much for joining me today. We're going to talk about a couple different juices from one of my most favorite companies of all time. You probably are already going to know the name of the company because I've talked about it 1,000 times in the past. So if you haven't figured it out already, the name of the company is Beantown Vapor. Yeah. So the two juices today we're going to talk about are kind of cool. Both of which are actually not even available to purchase at this moment, okay? One of them is a beta. Now, if you're not familiar with what the term beta means, it basically means that it's a juice that is in the process of being made. So it is basically a tester, so to speak, right? So it's before, the actual product is going to be out. They put out beta versions so that way they can kind of test and see if it's coming along, and a lot of companies will, give them to their friends and family, or in Beantown Vapor's case, they'll give it out to, their fans in the group. And that way they can come back and say, well, this, that, and the other thing about this flavor, and I think you should add this, that, and the other thing, and then they'll take their notes, and then they'll make a new version, and so on and so forth until they get it down to the exact science of what they want it to be. So I was lucky enough to get a bottle of the version 3, which is not even available anymore at all, which either means A, they ran out, and they're on to the beta version 4, or, no, actually that would probably be the only thing that would have happened. So currently right now I've got that in my possession. I'm going to do a little taste test over here. Not for any other reason other than just to, show you guys that I have it and you don't. Just kidding. Even though it's a beta version and even though they probably have already started working on the new 4th version of this juice, it's still terrific and you guys are going to love it. It's tiramisu, which of course is something that is right up my alley. I love coffee. I love mascarpone. I love the creaminess of it and the, sweetness of it, and then that bitterness of the coffee. There's just a lot of flavors in a tiramisu, especially when it's done correctly and as the dessert. And then putting it into a juice, it's always difficult because coffee, for me at least, has been very hard for me to really be like, oh, that's the best coffee ever. So basically in a nutshell with this version, a lot of the feedback that Beantown got was basically, kind of add a little bit more creaminess, less coffee type of thing. But still, it's a terrific juice to just vape as is. But that's what I love about Beantown Vapor is you have a bottle of juice like this that you really think is good, but that they're trying to make it better. They could just sell this juice and be done with it. But instead, they're going to take it, rework it a couple more times, and then come out with a final product that you guys are just gonna love. So let's just take a vape off this. This is really just for fun.
So good.
One thing that you can always say about Beantown Vapor's juice is that it's always extremely well balanced. This juice is just so good as is. I mean, it blows my mind that they are still working on getting these flavors down pat, because for me, I would vape this just as is, as I have been. It is actually very strange for me to not open up this bottle and vape it all myself, but I like the idea of having somebody who maybe had never had a chance to taste a juice before it's actually out to the public. That's kind of a cool thing. It's like you kind of get to see how the mind of these juice makers work, what steps do they take to reach the final product, so definitely do check that out. Like I said, you can't find this on the website. It's kind of like an old beta because now I'm sure they're working on the newest one. But like I said, it's all fun and games. It's a juice that you can try. And also keep in mind that you're getting a really good close look at what goes into making these juices. And if you join the group on Facebook, you can read all the other people's take on this beta release and, all good stuff. So once upon a time, Beantown Vapor came out with a brand new flavor called Soul Custardy. Okay, so if you can picture it, I'm sitting going through the internet, and I don't know where I seen it, but I seen this ad for the new Beantown Vapor. Anytime I hear rumors about a new Beantown Vapor, I'm just like, cannot wait. Doesn't matter what the flavor profile is, I gotta find out about it. And then when I found out it was Soul Custody, which I'll read you guys the description just so you guys can get an idea of what the description is for the actual Soul Custody, which isn't even what we're talking about today. So, Soul Custody.
Smooth and flavorful, defines a vanilla custard with a very subtle bourbon, graham cracker, and butterscotch notes. Soul Custody won the #3 spot for the best e-liquid of 2015 in the e-cig reviews public poll. If you like a custard style vapes, this is a must try. Soul Custody sits comfortably in the top tier mixes in this profile. We prefer to drip the mix, but our tank users also report exceptional flavor with long-lasting, gunk-free coils.
Now, that's another thing that stands out to me about Beantown Vapor is they always add these really, really specific things in their liner notes about the juice, you know, like what's the preferable method of vaping on it. You know, is it great in a tank? Is it great in a dripper? This particular one, they're saying that the juice is used best in dripping, but has been well received in the art of tank usage. So, like I said, this is not the one we're talking about. The reason why I brought it up was because what the cool thing about Soul Custody is that after I got this juice, I went kind of gaga over it. It was so freaking unbelievably good. It was like, how can they top that? Well, what did they do? They went and they poured this juice in a whiskey oak barrel thing, right? And they let it sit there for a bunch of days or 10 weeks or something like that, and then released it to the masses under a name Soaked. Okay, so let me just read the description for this one. Soaked Custody is an oak barrel aged version of Soul Custody. The liquid cured in a fresh dumped young rye whiskey barrel for 10 weeks. The outcome, a mellow, well-balanced, smooth and sophisticated custard with an earthy flavor, signature all its own. The liquid is very limited quantity. Okay, so this is where you even become more like in awe about the whole subculture of juice fanatics. Okay, so Soul Custody is delicious, right? But that's like a thing you can get anytime. Soaked Custody is in limited quantity, so this stuff is going to be on the site and then it's going to be off the site. If you didn't get a bottle, you're going to have to wait for the next run, if there is a next run, and that's where it becomes super, super crazy. Will they make another batch? If they do, when's it coming out? You have to be on top of it. I remember a while back when I was trying to get a bottle of juice from company, from Giant Vapes, of a juice company that was like very well sought after, and it was before I'd ever tasted it, and as soon as it went on sale, the internet was broken, you couldn't get on the site, and then finally when you could, it was sold out within seconds, and that was it. It was because it was so hard to get. People wanted to try it, and then when I ended up getting it, it was like, oh, it's okay, you know, it didn't do what I thought it was going to do for me. Whereas Beantown Vapor, it went very quick, but it did exactly what I knew it would do. Soaked Custody is absolutely delicious. I don't even have to vape on it for you guys to know how good it is. It's like taking Soul Custody and just totally making it completely chill. You know, maybe it's not as like super, super, super custardy, and it's not so rich and creamy and all that, but it takes all those flavors and just totally mellows it out, like it said in the description. Of course, like me, I always just say what's in the description. But again, you guys know me, it's all about facial expressions. How does it taste? Well, look at my face. I just made a rhyme. I do it all the time. Oh, no. A lot of times when people say earthy notes, I never understand it because I don't taste it. But in this, you can totally, totally get it. It's absolutely delicious. Especially the part where you taste that bourbon custard stuff. I mean, I've had a lot of different bourbon custards, and a lot of them don't ever come off as clean as this does. And I love the idea of thinking about a whiskey barrel, like they just freshly dumped it, so like whatever whiskey was in there is just still like seeping into the wood, and then you add this stuff in there, and then it just like kind of incorporates itself into the juice without overpowering it, and it just makes it so good. for me, although you guys know I'm just going to gush over it and stuff, it's not really about that. It's more of like I said, that the surge of... I could sit here and gush over this stuff, and you guys know you know I love it, and all that good stuff, but what I think is the best part about it is that doing limited releases like this really just adds to the fun of being a part of that subculture of juice fanatics, like I mentioned. You got people that are just can't wait for it, they anticipate it, they can't wait for it to come on sale, and once it's on sale, they buy it quick, and then it's gone. And then you are one of the few people that get to try it. And yes, you can say, well, that sucks because nobody else gets to try it, but that's not true. Because either A, someone's going to share it with you, someone's going to give away a bottle, and then if it sells out and it's well received, they're gonna make more, I'm sure. If not, then tough luck. I got some, ha ha ha. Just kidding. Just be happy that you guys have a chance to buy it, because if not, then that would mean that they didn't make it, and that would be a sad day in my eye. It's so delicious. So anyways, if you guys want to get onto beantownvapor.com, I'll leave the link in the description. Keep an eye out for it. Keep an eye out for news of a new release or a new, restock of this juice. Find them on Facebook. You can find them at the link in the description. It's basically their group. You can join it if you really like Beantown Vapor. You can join it, and then you can keep up on the news. And of course, they have a Facebook page as well. You can find them on Giant Vapes, which of course, if you subscribe to Giant Vapes on all their social media, you get up-to-date stuff on all that and all the other juices they carry on there. But let's focus our attention on Beantown Vapor. Thank you guys so much for joining me on my little juice time with Chrispy Divine. Please, if you like the video, give it a like. If you want, go ahead and share it. Don't forget to check out my Facebook page. You guys can like and get in on that contest. Don't forget to check out my new Facebook page. Link is in the description as well. You guys can find the contest and get in and get a chance to win a new fresh bottle of the Beta 3 version of the tiramisu, which is no longer available to people. And please remember to help fight the fight against the FDA and Big Tobacco trying to shut down vaping and to take away our right to clear lungs and a healthy heart. You gotta fight for your right to vape, because no one's gonna do it for you. And when it's all said and done, stay fabulous, people, because you know that I am going to try very hard and I'm gonna succeed, but whatever. Let's dance this stuff out.